I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty surprised by the grades on this quiz. I really thought that a lot of the concepts we had nailed down. Plus, I do think a lot of it might have been reading errors and just forgetting to do the stuff we did. This first question, people are like, I have no idea how to do this first question. This one should have been easy. Now, remember one of the rules of what's the number one rule of earth science? Read all the words, including directions. So here, up here, you had to read that. It says questions 1 through 3. Refer to the following. All of this for the whole first page, you had to look at the pictures. One photograph below shows a digital device that recorded several weather variables. The second shows 2 instruments labeled A and B. So then question 1, the barometric pressure was recorded on the digital device in millibars. It's right there. What is the equivalent to air pressure in inches of mercury? All you had to do was convert using your reference table. So 1003.1. 1003 isn't on here, but there's 1,000, there's 1,004. So 1,001, 2, 3, and they said 1,003.1, so just a tad bit higher. And you just read over, oh, I lost it, 1,003, and it's right, whoa, wrong one, sorry, right there. There's 29.6, 29.61, 29.62, not 20, yeah, 29.62, right there. Now, question 2, did you answer B? Yeah. Anybody else? It's not just Michael. Raise your hand if you answered B. Okay, so quite a few people who got it wrong answered B. And those of you who answered B, does an anemometer measure wind speed? Or anybody, does an anemometer measure wind speed? Yeah, it does. An anemometer measures wind speed. Does a wind vane measure wind direction?
Yeah, but it's not.
Yeah. But what, Justin?
It's not anemometer.
That's the problem, guys. Here is what A looks like. Here is what B looks like. Which one's the anemometer? The one with the little cups. Hey, can I just ask a question of any of you who put B? Did you even look at the pictures? I don't think you did either. If you knew what they did, you knew what they looked like. But notice answer D. Does a wind vane measure wind direction? Yep. Does an anemometer measure wind speed? Yep. These both had the instruments and their job correct. This one had them wrong. Wind vane does not do wind speed. An anemometer does not do wind direction. So most people did not pick A and C. Everybody, almost everybody who got it wrong picked B, and that's because you looked at their jobs and you're like, yup and yup. But remember to read all the words. Words include just random letters, A and B. So you had to look at both of those. So if you picked B, you should have gotten question 2 right if you had just taken your time, read all the words, including pictures. All right, question 3. Based on the outside temp and the relative humidity. So I'm going to go up to the reading and say, okay, outside temp and relative humidity. So based on that, what's the approximate dew point? Need a reference table for that. And it's like, it's right there. So I only know my outside temp and humidity. Guys, does anything on here say outside temp? No. But when we went outside and swung this sling psychrometer around, which one measured the outside temp? The dry bulb. Everybody grab your reference table. And if you don't have that labeled right now, I would like you to label that right now. Dry bulb. So I have that pointing right to where it says dry bulb. I have it labeled actual air temperature. So that's the plain old regular thermometer that did not have a sock on it. It measures the actual air temperature. So they gave us that. They told us it was 30. And they gave us the humidity, but they want to know the dew point. Normally we have wet bulb and dry bulb, but since they don't give you the wet bulb and the dry bulb, you got to work with what they give you. So you ask yourself, which chart would I be looking at since they gave me a humidity? Ask yourself that and now answer me. They give you a dry bulb and a humidity. So I'm just going to start with the dew point. I got to find the difference and I got to work with what they gave me. So they gave me a humidity. So I go to the humidity chart. They gave me an actual temperature of 30 and a humidity of 49, which is there. Now that I have the humidity, I know the difference is 8. Guys, notice they have an answer of 8 right there. If you picked B, you fell for their trick. Did anybody fall for the trick? You almost did, so you noticed. Thanks for not. I hate when you guys fall for tricks because you let them win. Don't let those Regents people win. Don't fall for their mean tricks. Okay, you're gonna have to do that a different time. So now we know the dry bulb and the difference. Bring your fingers together. That should, wait, what was it? Is it 30? 30 and not 30 and 8. I don't know why I went to 30 and 3. 30 and 8 is 18. Oh, hang on, he's going next. Okay. On the back, this one should have been pretty straightforward. They gave you the wet, they gave you the dry. You needed to do the relative humidity. Hardest part might have been reading this. We got 22 for the dry bulb and 14 for the wet bulb. If you picked 8, again, what is 8? That's the difference. 22. No, it's not. Never mind. 22 minus 14. Oh, it is. Okay. 8. So that's the difference. So don't pick 8 because that's just subtracting. So if we want the relative humidity, and I have 8 and 22. Boom. That's 40. I think 4 is for the dew point. 22. Yep. This is the dew point. So if you picked A, you used the wrong chart. Did the work right, but you used the wrong chart. So you got to look at what they ask and do what they ask, not just whichever one you want to do. Oh, question 5 was a struggle. This is the one I just had a whole bunch of you redo. The reason I had some people redo it is because once again, I let the computer scramble the letters. So if you wanted location C, you would have answered A. If you wanted location B, that was B. If you wanted location D, you should have answered C. And if you wanted location A, your answer was D. So that I think did screw some people up. So I let those people who their answer made sense redo it. It turned out it didn't help a lot of you, but let's go through this. The table below shows air temperature and dew points for A, B, C, and D. Based on these measurements, which location has the greatest chance of precipitating or having precipitation? Guys, when it's raining or snowing or sleeting or hailing or fogging, what's happening? So what's happening? The air can't hold any more water. So if the air can't hold any more water, it's just like when we have the hot air that touches the cold water bottle and sweat forms. That's because the air hits the dew point. I've done it several times. We've looked at the weather station model. And I say the temperature is and the dew point is. Guys, what happens? What is the temperature and the dew point when it's raining? Anytime it's raining, what can you say about the temperature and the dew point? Wait, never mind. Let's try this again since everybody's looking at me like I'm nuts. Grab your note packet. Flip through until you find the definition of dew point. Everybody, grab your packet and flip through until you find it. Don't shout anything out. I'm going to wait till everybody gets there. But Gabby, asked you to do something. Grab your packet, find the definition of dew point. So everybody flip through your packet and find the definition of dew point. I said flip through until you find it. I asked everyone not to say anything out loud.
I couldn't find it, so
Okay, so I keep flipping until you find it. I'll give you a hint. It's on the same page as relative humidity. Anthony, what is the definition of dew point?
temperature when water is not in the air.
Guys, dew point is the temperature when water comes out of the air. What did we just say the definition of precipitation is? When their water is coming out of the air. When it's raining, water is coming out of the air. So dew point is the temperature at which water comes out of the air. I think I had you put a little star underneath the definition of dew point. Yes, Shelby says. Shelby, did you, I always write what I tell you to write. What did you write? When temperature and dew point are close, it's going to precipitate soon. Because when they're the same, what happens? The temperature reaches the dew point, it's raining. Guys, when the temperature hits the dew point, water droplets come out of the air. Rain, snow, sleet, fog, sweat. When temperature hits the dew point, it's going to rain. This question says, which one has the greatest chance of raining? So why is it D? Because they're almost the same. Because when they're the same, it's going to rain, or it is raining. If they're close, it has a good chance of raining. So that answer was answer C. And the rest of you that I gave everybody the chance to redo that one. So you would have then, the new ones that I whited out, you would have just circled D. But the correct answer is location D. Everybody good so far? Need me to redo that one? Okay. Oh, this one. We wanted highest wind speed. We did this one a few days before the quiz. What do we know about these maps and high wind speed? Closer they are, right here. Look how tightly packed those lines are. That means the pressure's changing really fast. That's answer A. Now this question says, what is the wet bulb temperature? This wanted the wet bulb. It didn't want the dew point. It didn't want the difference. It wants the wet bulb. So they tell us the dew point is, and the dry bulb. So again, they tell us dew point and dry bulb. They told us a dry bulb, what was it, 18? 18 and a dew point of 15. What does that now tell us? I have a dry bulb and a dew point. What else can I figure out? Well, no, I don't know. The wet bulb's not 3. In fact, nothing's 3. What does it tell me is 2? The difference is 2. So if the difference is 2, that means 15 minus what gives me, is it 2 or 3? Am I on the wrong one? 15, 18, sorry, 18 and 15. Oh, not, there we go, that's not, it's 18 minus what gives me 2? 18 minus 16, why is it not 20? I do want the wet bulb, and the wet bulb is always colder. Question 8 made you think. The atmospheric condition, what atmospheric conditions occur when the dry bulb temperature is 30 and the difference between the wet and the dry bulb is 1? And then the first thing is it warm or cold? Do you guys comfortable using 30 degrees Celsius? Anyone here from Canada? Anyone here from a country that uses Celsius? I mean, I'm not super comfortable, and this is kind of my job. I'm not comfortable off the top of my head saying, is 30 Celsius warm or cold? I doubt you guys are either. So what should you have done to figure out if 30 was warm or cool? We learned how to convert them. Some of you might have looked up online, which is basically doing the same thing, just not using the reference table. 30 Celsius is what, 86 degrees? Yeah, 86. Is that warm or cool? That's warm. In no world, even if you're used to 80, is 80 ever considered cool? So it is not the two cool answers. So does that mean with 30 and a difference of 1, is that going to be humid or dry? What should we do to figure that one out? Also use your reference table. We have a dry bulb of 30. A difference of 1, that gives us a humidity of 93%. That's pretty humid, guys. 90, if it's raining at 100, 93 is pretty darn full too. So that's warm and humid, answer A. A lot of you guys got 9 right, so I'm pretty sure you were good with this, but let's go through it. It was on a hot, sunny afternoon. I like to start off with just recreating my own water and beach on a sunny day. On a sunny day, what gets hotter faster, the beach or the water? Beach is hot. Water is cooler. If the beach is hot, what's the air doing, rising or falling, or rising or sinking? Air is rising. And when air is rising, less pressure, lower pressure. Here it's cooler, so what's the air doing? Sinking. And when air sinks, high pressure. So which picture matches up with low at the beach, high in the water? They're trying to mess with you here. Okay, that's answer B. Then this next question, you guys are not huge fans of graphs. So I'm going to ask you to make one. Everybody don't even look at the answers. We're going to just recreate this. Air temp, air pressure. Now they just put an arrow here. They have no numbers. So when an arrow is going over this way, what kind of temperature is over here at the left? Wait, what kind of temperature? Yeah, so guys, see how it's going this way? That means it's getting bigger as we go this way. So this is going to be cool. And it's going to be warmer over here. Now they don't have numbers here again, but they did give you an arrow. So what's at the bottom? What kind of pressure would we find at the bottom? Okay, again, it's getting bigger as it goes up. So we have a lower pressure there and a higher here. They didn't put any of those things on here. So if you needed to add some descriptors, you could have done this. Cold, warm, low, high. Now stop and think. What does cool air do? Sinks. And when air is sinking, what kind of pressure? When we have warm air, what is the air doing? Rising. And when we have rising air, what kind of pressure is it? And if we had medium and medium, okay, that's answer D. Not too many people I had expected more problems with the connect the dots than I saw. Guys, remember connect the dots for slightly older kids. What numbers do we connect? Equal numbers. They all had to be the same. And the directions said 1,000 and 999. That means you had two separate lines. You drew yourself 1,000 line and you drew yourself a 996 line. So here's 1,000. Some people asked me for a highlighter. That would have been a good idea too. There weren't many 1,000s. I feel like there was one more somewhere, but I can't see it off the top of my head, but we just start connecting them. It's just those three. It's up higher somewhere. Up here. It's lower? Right there.
Right.
Oh, whoa, it's my first day. That was rough. All right, well, those two are these three right here are super easy to connect. Now, do I want to go, which side of the 998 do I go? The right side or the left side? I got to go on the right side because there is no 1,000 between 998 and 996. Got to get down here, same deal, in between the 997 and the 1,002. Here's where so many people are like, oh, this fits nice here. Does this fit nicely here? No, because that's 996 and that's 998. Does 1,000 come between those two numbers? No. So I got to look elsewhere. There's 998 and there's 1,001. Right in between those. Up to this guy. Go around. In between. Ta-da. A lot of people forgot that 998 at the bottom. And then 996, there were only these two. So they connect on that side, but not here. You have to go around that. Oop. You want the 995 in the middle. Sorry. That's it. Now, again, same question as question 6. Question 12 says, which one has the greatest wind speed and why? So is it W, X, Y, or Z? X. What about X gives it the highest wind speed? Lines are closer together. Uh, 13. Identify the weather instrument used to measure air pressure. We spent like Thursday, we listed all 5. I showed you pictures of all 5 or held the actual instruments up. Told you needed to know. The first question asked about these 2 instruments. This one's asking what instrument do we use to measure pressure? And it's the easy to spell one. It's the barometer. Barometer. If you spelled it wrong, I gave you credit. But it wasn't a crazy one like anemometer or sling psychrometer. They won't do that to you. If they want an answer of anemometer, like back here, they'll spell it out. They would never make you spell anemometer. You guys can handle spelling barometer. And finally, question 14, which I went over on Thursday, was which way does the air surface circulation pattern associated with a low pressure? So first of all, there were 3 ways. Air, and this was right off of your notes. Does air move in or out of a low? High to low. If you wrote high to low, I gave you points. Goes from a high into a low. Does the air spin clockwise or counterclockwise for a low? Counter is low. And does the air move up or down? For low. Up, warm air rises, and when air is rising, it gives us low pressure. If you notice, your grades didn't, so a lot of you didn't do good, but it did not kill your averages because quizzes don't kill averages. But you know what does kill an average if you do this bad? Tests. Because FYI, we'll probably be having a test by early next week. Like Monday, Tuesday? Don't know yet. I'll let you know when we get closer. If you don't know this stuff now and you still don't know it, and you do this bad on that test, your grade will plummet. So we have review coming up. Mr. D and I are always available for help, or the biggest thing is asking for help. When we just went through this, the same 3-ish, maybe 4-ish people answered me every time, which is great. They know it. The rest of you need to either A, tell me you don't understand, or B, show me when you do understand. You guys got to start more participation, more doing your homework. One thing I know is a lot of the homework last week was multiple choice. Ask yourself, did I really try on that homework? If you did, okay, then we got to work harder. We got to figure out what's going on. Me, you got to ask me for help, or you have to work on something. If you just BS'd your way through homework last week and you did bad, please don't be surprised. Okay. All right. So we have some new stuff to learn. We're a little behind, which we'll make it up. I'm not sure if that's going to stay your homework that's on the board. So we'll figure that out once we get moving. I would like you to open up. Well, actually, we're not even going to open up to anything at the moment. Oh, grab your reference tables. How about that? If you don't already have them out, grab. If I showed you this and asked you this, did we do this already? Oh, perfect. So I already showed you this and you now know what to do with this, right? If I asked you what 28 means, can you tell me? Did you just memorize that?
No, I won't.
You could. Don't memorize this, guys. So yes, I know which one temperature is, but that's because I've been doing this for a very long time. What I want you to do is look on page 13 of your reference table. Oh, I want to just share this on Zoom. So if you guys don't remember, I always record these videos. That's why I'm still doing Zoom. Is because I always put these videos online. So if you miss a day, they're there. Or if you're confused when you're doing your homework, the video is always there. Okay, so if I asked you again what 28 was, I have that corner memorized, but I think that's a waste of your brain space to memorize the corners. Not many teachers tell you to wait, not many people tell you don't memorize what I'm talking about. I am telling you it is a waste of your time to memorize this stuff because you just use this key. The 28 is always going to be temperature. That bottom corner is always going to be dew point. The only thing that will move is the wind. So the wind is always going to change depending on where the wind is coming from. So this particular one in the bottom left, remember, never eat soggy worms. We're in the soggy worms column or corner. So that's southwest. Did we talk about the abbreviations? I didn't think so. So let's go in your packet to page 41. There's really not much to look at 41 yet, so we're going to still use this picture on the board here. So let's talk about the pressure. Can you guys off the board here read what the pressure is? If I asked you what's the pressure and you just looked at this guy, the station model, what would you answer? You should answer 196 because that's labeled pressure. 196. Now, looking at our reference table that we used when we talked about pressure, right here, or any of those, do any of those say 196? Is 196 anywhere on that chart?
No.
No, and that's because meteorologists have to abbreviate the pressure. They want to make these as small and simple as possible so that they just send out one of these little things. So they abbreviate the pressure in a 3-digit number. That 3-digit number is abbreviated and it's legit the stupidest abbreviation I have ever experienced. And here, we'll just actually go to that page. Mrs. Ritz? Yep. Bye. Trent, they need you in the office. So here's how you abbreviate it. It's always a 3-digit number, and to convert or abbreviate, all you do is you take the actual air pressure, so 1,000 something or 900 something, and you drop either the 9 or the 10 that's out front. So if it starts with a 9, to abbreviate it, you'll legit just cross off the 9. If it starts with a 1,000 something, you take off the 10, so the 10 that's out front. So let's try a few of them. You have this in your packet. Looks like did I already do 2 of them for you? I did. Let's do this third one. 1024.2. What would you do to abbreviate that? What did I just say? Drop what? Well, first of all, yes, you get rid of the decimal. But what else do you get rid of? Okay, you either get rid of whatever's out front. If it's a 9, you get rid of a 9. If it's a 10, you get rid of the 10. Like legit, just stupid. Not calling you guys
So
stupid.
242 at least.
Yeah. So it's not even MB, it's just 242. You never put the labels. Like, I'm not kidding. This is an annoying abbreviation. How about 991.2? How do I abbreviate that?
It's up to 9.
So seriously, you cross off the 9, the first 9, and what else do you get rid of? The decimal. So it goes to 912. Don't label it MB. Just cross off the 9 and the decimal. What did you say about it, Jake? Yeah, this is beyond easy. Okay, in the sake of time, we got to go to the next chart though. Unabbreviating it is a little weird because you got it. What do you have to do to unabbreviate it?
Well, you gotta know if it's a 9 or a 10.
You got to either put a 9 or a 10. And you're like, well, how do I know? You guys know how when you round something? So if I had, here, don't keep filling in that chart. That's busy, dumb work. Don't keep doing that. If I had this number, 10, I don't want to use the 10 because let's say I used 24.4. What is that? 29. If I said to round that, what does the 29.4 tell you to do? What's a 0.4? Round down. So it would just say 24. What if I said 24.6? Round up. So you guys know the whole deal with rounding up and rounding down. Well, with this, it's kind of reminds me of that. If the first number, so let me switch over to the next chart here. If the first number on the station model is between 0 and 4, you're going to put a 10 out front. So it's like rounding, except for instead of the 0.4 gets the bigger number. So the smaller numbers get the bigger number out front. So if it's a 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, you put a 10 out front. Anything else? So 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, that gets a 9 out front. So let's try the first one. 146. No, that's not the first one, is it? 986. You look at the first number.
9986.
Do you add a 9 or a 10? Here's how I do this, by the way. I write the actual number and then I decide 9 or 10. Because this is a 9, it gets a 9. And then don't forget, what else do I have to do? Plop a decimal between the last 2 numbers. How about 514?
9.
Okay, again, it's bigger than a 5. It's 5 and bigger. They get the 9. And don't forget to put your decimal in. Now, if you forget, do the 9 or the 10? There's 2 ways of checking. On this key that I showed you on page 13, they do this one for you. They tell you 196 got a 10 out front. So that's a reminder that the little numbers get a 10. The other thing you can do is check it on this conversion chart here. If your answer is somewhere on this, so 1019 would be there. But if I had screwed up and put it as a 919, is 919 on this chart anywhere? No, it only goes down to 968. You guys do have homework. I am keeping it. I would like you to attempt the top of page 43 and 44. It's looking at those weather station models and telling me what the temperature is, what the dew point is, which way the wind's coming from.
It's where it's, you know, the name of like, she's a sub, she's got blonde hair.
I don't. Let me keep talking. The next page asks you to draw two weather station models. So they give you all the numbers and you got to draw in one of those station models. So just the top of both pages. Yes. So it's half of each page.